as Anthony Boliches, a Spanish psychologist, resonates. He describes the syndrome of the superwoman, successful, personal, and professional life, who are paying for their excellence with loneliness. I'm gonna tell you about a story of one of my patients. It's her personal crossroad, and basically she was telling me that after 38 she found herself sitting in our fertility clinic in the waiting room, and she was a woman who had always done everything right, earned 2 degrees, built a thriving career, traveled the world, and she was saying that I keep telling myself I will have children when the time is right. But after year, the right time never came. No partner, no pregnancy, and now facing the real possibility of never holding a child on her own. I felt a profound silence when she was telling me this, but I also lived the same. It was a mix of a peace, pride, and grief. I know I'm not alone in this journey, and many of our patients we have accomplished, and walking in this tiny line of loss and motherhood when someone sees as a purpose and changing a landscape of motherhood or parenthood. We are part of a generation that statistics shows that more women are reaching midlife without children than ever before. In the United States, about 15% of women entering their late 40s have never had children, a share that has risen significantly over recent decades. In the United Kingdom, 1 in 5 women that born late 60s, 70s remain childless by age of 45, nearly double the rate of their mother's generation. But now, in Spain, around 18% of women in their 40s, late 30s, today have never also had children. And more than half of those women wish they did. This is a dramatic cultural and change situation that we have. So much that the author Jody Day calls those of us born in the 70s, 80s the shock absorber generation, caught between new opportunities and old expectations, old family expectations, where we were the first to entering in universities, workplaces, to have the PL, the technology, and believe that we still having time. We work and achieve through our 20s and 30s, only to discover that this male pattern, career, timeline runs headlock into the reality of the female biology and male timeline for sperm and oocyte, and we are high achievement men and women that we still don't having kids in our 40s, but we desire to do so. So the reason and the complexity and interwoven social research reveal a few common themes. In our 20s and 30s, we were encouraged to focus on obviously education, personal growth, travel, plenty of time for kids later, we said. But by our late 30s, after a pandemic, and we face the pressure of establishing careers and financial security in the economies where one often doesn't feel stable enough to start a family and to buy the diapers and to keep paying the mortgage. Many of us simply did not find a suitable partner during those key years, or we outgrew the cultural script that says marriage and babies by 30s, it's the only path. In Spain, the National Statistic Institute found that by age of 35, over 28% of women had not yet had a child, often citing lack of a stable partner or stable income as the main cause. We made what we thought were conscious choices to delay until the time was right. But as one demographer put it, by the time everything else is finally in peace, the stable job, the savings, the relationship, one critical factor may no longer cooperate. Biology in man and woman's body. Superman and Superwoman at the search for equal partners, for someone in reciprocity. To delay wasn't only about career or finances. It was about finding a partner who truly matched our level, our growth, our admiration. And as Anthony Boliches, a Spanish psychologist, resonates, he describes the syndrome of the superwoman. Successful, personal, and professional life who are paying for their excellence with loneliness in love. Accordingly to Boliches, many highly accomplished women struggle to find partners because some men feel maybe intimidated or unprepared for an equal relationship with a superwoman. This is not just a Spanish phenomenon. In the US, studies have found a similar paradox. Men says they admire and desire intelligent, successful women, and many truly do. But when faced with a woman who outperforms them, some men experience diminished self-esteem and put always psychology into daily life. Why? Because in one experiment, men who were told a woman nearby had a score higher than them on an intelligence test literally distanced themselves from her and report reduced attraction, even though she was exactly the kind of woman they hypothetically found appealing. That's the reason why in my deep conversations with my patients and the results of a countless brilliant patients and compassionate women ended up without the life partner they hope to build a family with. It's relational timing as much as biological timing. We don't want to settle in love, and that is admirable. But the hard truth is that waiting for the right person sometimes means that motherhood and fatherhood waits too long. As Boliches also said, there just are not enough evolved men to meet so many mature women. So those women learn to live singly and self-sufficient, often finding fulfillment in other ways. When biology window close, even for those who actively try to have children later in life, nature can be unyielding. Fertility is not a fair meritocracy. It doesn't care how earnest, healthy, and successful you are. But by our late 30s and early 40s, many of us confront the stark statistics. The chance of conception drops sharply with age, and about 10 to 20% of women under 45 experience infertility, even with medical help. That's what we are facing with our patients, men and women. And we were the first generation to be promised that technologies like IVF, we could extend our fertility, to choose wisely, to choose better. But the plan B with IVF, we have learned that it's also not warranty. There's a high percentage of time that fails, especially as one last researched their 40s. I remember the emotional whiplash of fertility treatments, the hormone shots, the hope, then the phone calls with the bad results saying the doctor, I'm sorry, it's negative, we should keep trying. Each failed attempt felt like a tiny funeral for a life that never got to be. What makes this journey special is that for many, the childless is not by choice. Surveys in Spain and in the UK have found roughly half of women who ended up without children had actually wanted to become mothers, but ran out of time or circumstances to do so. In other words, a significant portion of the childless are not the carefree, child-free stereotype, often portrayed, but women and men who carry an invisible grief. It's the friend who doesn't talk about how badly she or him want a baby.